I mean, there's nothing that I don't appreciate about the school. I can trust with 1,000% that when I send my children to school, it's about the child, and it's always about the child and their, first of all, their safety, but their happiness and their development.
I'm Glenn Herbert, and I'm an editor with Our Kids. We're speaking with insiders from Canada's leading private schools to gain insights into their programs, culture, traditions, and leadership. This includes insights from parents, alumni, and administrators. This is the Our Kids Insider Perspective.
My son was very shy, so he has since graduated from Clanmore and he's in high school now. And when he was a wee little thing, he was very shy. I mean, that's still part of his character, but I wanted a loving environment for him um, where he could ease into the classroom and learn. I just didn't want him to be overwhelmed with, a lot of other kids around him and, get lost in the shuffle kind of. And I learned about the Montessori theory, or I learned a little bit about Montessori schools, and I really loved the approach and it really aligned with my values. So I pretty well went. I mean, I live in Oakville, but I was searching for schools all around Mississauga, all around Oakville, and I would sit and I would have, just like an observation session just to see. So it was really going from school to school to school. And then, so I did my tour in and around Mississauga. And then I started to do my tour of Montessori schools in Oakville. And as soon as I walked into Clanmore, I just knew. It's kind of like when you buy a house or when you rent an apartment. As soon as you walk in, you just know. So really, that's how it came to be. Um, it was a beautiful small school. When you walked in, it just felt so warm and so inviting, and I just knew as soon as I walked in. It's understandable. Your first week of school is always, no, I don't want to go to school. I don't want to go to school. But I think that's pretty standard of any child starting any new school. But he loved it. I didn't see any behavioral changes, like just in a negative way. I did see over the years his confidence build. And I mean, he has his character, so he is how he is, but he's grown up into a very um, he he, um, he has quiet leadership. He has confidence in himself. He's confident in what he says, and I think, I mean, based on what I see, I think he has pretty good self-esteem. So those are all really important. And I think that Clanmore had a lot to do with that in the sense that they really look at the child and they nurture the child. And because every child is different, you could have somebody that has like a really explosive personality, which is great, or you could have somebody who's very introspective and introverted, which is what my son was. And just to, draw a little bit of that smile, that character, that happiness that I know that he's feeling inside, but just drawing that out and turning into the nice young man that he is today. So his friends, his friends. I think the school, there was not one day where I would bring him to school where he would say, no, I don't want to go to school today. He would happily bounce out of the car and away he went, didn't look back. Um, yeah, so I think it was So his friends definitely, and the memories, like the activities. So they've gone camping, they've gone on Odyssey trips. Those those really stick with him. I mean, there's nothing that I don't appreciate about the school. I can trust with 1,000% that when I send my children to school, it's about the child, and it's always about the child and their, first of all, their safety, but their happiness and their development. So there's really, you know, I have my complete trust in them with all the staff members. It's a small community, and it really speaks to the school and everybody, like the entire staff at the school, when every single teacher knows your child's name. So, and they could speak to them, "Oh, hi." So Ben is my son's name. "Ben, could you help me with this?" Or "Ben, could you go do that?" Or something like that. Every single teacher knows, from whether or not he's in your class. So I think that's beautiful. You don't have that in, other bigger schools where the teachers know each individual child. So yeah. Spread the message. If there's one, I don't know. I mean, COVID has certainly changed a lot of things. So um, I don't know. I don't know that maybe make it a bit bigger, have a few more classrooms, but that's also part of its charm and part of the reason why you send your child there, because you like that small, tight-knit community. Well, I only found out about this years later. I didn't know at the time, but just there was a horse that had come to visit at the school that I didn't know, because, when I pick up my son from school, "How was your day?" It's always a one-word answer, "Good." So I didn't know about the horse that had come. It's not a surprise in a bad way, but just, things like that. "Oh, I didn't realize that you had a visitor today." So yeah, no, I wouldn't say like any awkward surprises. It was always like a fun surprise for the kids, whether it be, the police that came to visit or the fire department came to visit or anything like that. Yeah, always good surprises. I think it was a planned visit, but I didn't know about it, and it could have been a surprise for the children. I don't know. It was many, many, many moons ago when Ben first started at the school. So yeah, yeah, it stuck with him for sure. The highest values, they really put the child's interest at heart first, always, first and foremost. And I appreciate that. It's about the child, and always about, of course, the safety of the child and the child's well-being, like that aside, but it's always about the growth and the development of the child. And Yeah, love their I love their values in the sense that, they teach restitution to the children, and that's a value that that when you instill in the child, it carries with you. Or you hope that it carries with you for the rest of your life. Just accountability, restitution, um, being respectful, being polite, graces and courtesies, all little things like that, um, that are not necessarily taught to you specifically, but because it's emulated through the example of the teachers, the kids pick up on that, and that's carried through. So, I mean, I don't really know. I know I only everybody holds the same values in the sense that they want the best for their child. They send their child to Clanmore because of the people, the families. Everybody comes from. I mean, everybody has their family, right? There's not one family that's the same as another. But I think that um, I'm guessing, I can't speak for other people, but we go there because we want the best for our child. We know that the once they reach the school, the love, the attention, the well-being of the child is always at first and foremost, at the front of their minds. And it's about them growing and learning and knowing that they'll make mistakes along the way, but knowing that it's okay to make the mistake. You correct it, you acknowledge it, you correct it, and you move on. Oh, I'm sure there are many, many of those that he probably hasn't shared with me, but it was probably in the late. I mean, there are fond memories throughout, but I think at one of his fondest memories would probably be like the school trips away from home, where he's with his peers, where they got to go to New York, be a part of the Model UN. That was a big deal. And going on their Odyssey trips to Northern Ontario with his peers. He talks about that a lot. So I know that they're happy memories and they're good memories. And sure, there are times where, there were hardships, whether it was canoeing for so many hours or being wet or whatever. But, it all comes back to being like a really happy memory in the end. I I can't say that I've had an unpleasant experience. It's always been everybody is very helpful. If this isn't the right person I need to speak with, then I'm always directed to, about a certain issue or topic. I've not had any issues with any of the teachers. So they're all lovely. They're all you know, I've had I've encountered many teachers throughout the years, based on grade level um, and they're all great. They're great. The teachers they all have a great sense of humor. Um, everything in ebbs and waves, right? But everybody has a great sense of humor and everybody is genuine. And I appreciate that. The child will be well looked after. Um, I think that the way that they teach to the children, like the Montessori theory specifically, um, like if somebody is looking for a Montessori school, I think that the quality of education is excellent. Everybody is so knowledgeable about things. They start talking about anyways, everybody's just really knowledgeable about whether it's the subject matter or if a child has, oh, I've never seen that flower before. Oh, well, let's look into that. Um, you know, there's always like little side educational learnings. And I would say that the community is great. Everybody is lovely. Um, everybody is kind. Everybody has their child's best interest at heart. Not to say other schools don't or other places don't, but you really feel the warmth and you really feel the authenticity of the community. Like it's just not something that is easily replicated everywhere else. I wish I knew about our kids as a resource. I really didn't have any resources, and I mean, it's not Clanmore specific, but it would have been. I don't know. Like it would have been nice to know about our kids, and just like having a resource, a place to read up on, or what to look for, or what are even asking, like what are you looking for, or maybe even probing those questions, especially when it's your first child and you don't know a lot of people that have kids that are necessarily the same age as your child. Um, yeah, it just would have been good to have a resource like that. Just make sure that you're, you know, everybody knows their child the best. and just to make sure that your child comes home happy. They don't come home like upset or whatever, and just visit the school. It's okay to ask for an observation. It's okay to sit and just watch and just observe in the background to see how the dynamics of the school work. It's okay to ask those questions.
For more information about this school, you can visit their profile at ourkids.net.